Hey, what is up? Happy Friday. Good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution. Oh, didn't have my V8 today. Looks like the room behind me is at a leaning tower of pizza. I've got pizza on I had pizza last night. Let's I don't know if can I do this? Nope. Okay, we're just going to roll with it. Happy Friday. Free for all Friday, which means we're going to talk which basically means it's like any other day. We're going to talk about a little bit of everything. Happy early birthday to Jenny. I will try to remember to tweet out a happy birthday tomorrow. I'll be at the Green Bay Card Show tomorrow, by the way. Today is getaway day. I'll be traveling up north. Green Bay is about a 3-hour drive, I think, for me. Maybe a tad, maybe 2.5 hours. But I'll be stopping in Oshkosh this evening because talk about a nerd out weekend. Tonight, I'll be going to a live podcast for 83 Weeks Live. It's a wrestling podcast with host Conrad Thompson, who does some awesome content in the wrestling podcast world. And the man from 83 Weeks is Eric Bischoff from WCW fame. So I will be checking out 83 Weeks Live tonight in Oshkosh. There's a big wrestling event tomorrow night in Oshkosh. It's actually a small independent federation here in Wisconsin that is run by Hornswoggle. Remember him from WWE. And I know Bischoff's going to be there tomorrow. The Godfather will be there, and there's going to be some current wrestlers as well. So I'll be at the podcast tonight. Won't be at the wrestling event tomorrow, but I will be have my ticket. So I'll stop off in Oshkosh this evening, and then the card show tomorrow, which by the way is at the KI Convention Center in Green Bay. So I'm looking forward to it. My dollar boxes are made. I think I have 10 or $11 boxes that I've been making up this week. Didn't take me as long as I expected. So, but I was hustling. I was sleeving, hustling. So I'll do dollar boxes and then fill a box for $50. So fill a 100 count box and get 50% off. So, and if you grab a stack, don't quite fill a box, I'll still give you that 50-cent discount. So, I'll be at the Green Bay Card Show tomorrow, KI Convention Center. And then, gosh, it's only a week away, 8 days away from the next Madison Card Show at the Sheraton Hotel on Take a Drink, John Nolan Drive. So I'm excited. We're going to do some giveaways. I have, let's see, I've got a free submission to PSA or SGC that is going to be, you can register to win a free submission to PSA or SGC through a dealer of mine, 5-Star Cards. They'll be in the Williamson Ballroom next Saturday. Going to have another dealer is going to offer up something. Haven't decided. I'll have more information for Monday's show. I'm gonna bring some wax to give away. So I'll probably a couple Bowman mega boxes from last year. So I'll put those out. So we're gonna have registration boxes in each of the 3 rooms. Oh, a book on I think Dave Bancroft, Hall of Fame baseball player. There's a new book out. So gonna have a few of those to give away as well. So gonna have giveaways, gonna have 135 tables nearly booked, nearly sold out. So gonna be a great show. 3 ballrooms and 135 tables, free admission, runs 9 to 3. And after the show, you can run across the street and grab a brat at Bratfest. Bratfest goes on next weekend here in Madison. Joe Nichols will be on stage on Saturday night. There's also a Janesville card show on Sunday. So I do know there's a lot of dealers that are double dipping. So hit the Janesville card show up, which I believe is at the Holiday Inn, right there on the interstate in Janesville, Wisconsin. So that's next Sunday. Madison card show next Saturday. So where are we at in the chat? Let's see. Jenny asks, any of the Madison people going to Green Bay? Low Roller asks about my big sale. I do have an update I'll provide in just a moment. TD Sports Cards, good morning to you. Low Roller says you need to sell your wrestling cards in the eBay store. I do. Low Roller, hit up my eBay store. Link is in the description. There's probably 500 or so, maybe even more. No, there's more because I've got a whole bunch of heritage. There's probably 1,000 wrestling cards in my eBay store. Ed says I listen to him with Jim Cornette. Great stuff. Yep, Jim Cornette's another podcast I listen to. My favorite wrestling podcast. Here we go. Free for All Friday, wrestling podcast talk. My favorites are the Bischoff podcast, Tony Schiavone, which is What Happened When. Tony Schiavone. Let's see. I used to love Something to Wrestle With, Bruce Pritchard, but it's so inconsistent, and it's not the same as it used to be. So I don't really, it's just, I don't know. It's just, I've grown out of it. And then the Cornette podcast, love those. So those are the ones, Bischoff, Schiavone, and Cornette. Those are the wrestling podcasts that I listen to. I'll listen to Jim Ross, depending on the topic. I'll listen to Jeff Jarrett's podcast, depending on the topic. I love it when they talk about the old USWA from the 90s. I love Memphis wrestling. I'll go back on YouTube and watch old Memphis wrestling from the 80s and early 90s. So I do enjoy Jeff Jarrett's podcast as well. I don't listen to Kurt Angle's podcast. I don't listen to Arn Anderson's podcast. What else? There's a Ric Flair podcast now. I haven't been listening to that either. So that's my wrestling podcast talk. Let's see. Jenny wants to know what Low Roller Scratcher's eBay store is. Bo needs to start listening to you because, man, you know it all. Abraham, good morning to you. What's up, Abraham? Sleeving wrist is a real thing in volume. Bo, please don't piss your pants at the show, right? That's an inside joke. Zach and I were texting this morning, and voice to text, a voice to text fail. Diego, what is up? Good morning to you. 70s Card Show. What's up, John? I've hit the like button. Have you? Thank you very much. Hit that like button. Cliff, good morning. Jersey King of the Card YouTubers. Good morning to... Oh, skipped around. DR, what's up, DR? Good morning. I'll be interested to hear if you saw increased traffic when you did your bulk auctions. Diego has a new photo. My day is starting off on a great note. Queensryche. That's right. Queensryche at Bratfest. They're playing on the main stage on Sunday night, next Sunday night. So after you're at the Janesville Card Show, drive back up to Madison and check out Queensryche on Sunday night at Madison's Bratfest. Flywheels, good morning. TGIF, absolutely. With Bratfest across the street, maybe sling some Tums, right? Scott, good morning to you. Jenny, I think top loader cuticle damage is more devastating. I get that. I get the, what is it called? Hangnail. I'll get hangnail from, especially Card Savers. I'll be, I noticed when I was putting some, it catches that lip, and I chew my fingernails, which is not good. I've done better this week. Anyway, let's see. Cornette has the gift of gab like no other. Absolutely. I'm working Bratfest on Friday, also officially requesting a fantasy baseball update. Okay. Since it's official, Abraham, I was starting to get concerned with my fantasy baseball team. However, I had a big win last week. My record is 3-2, and I have a decent lead going into the weekend. I am up. So we do head-to-head. I'm in a keeper league. We have 5 keepers. My matchup this week, and we name our fantasy league teams after like one of the players on our roster. So I am the Lindor Chocolates because I have Francisco Lindor. I am playing Mookie Monster, and a lot of the guys in the league, they'll change their name. Sometimes they'll change their name 2 or 3 times in a year, which it irritates me because then I forget who's who. But Mookie Monster, because he has Mookie Betts, Mookie Monster, and he actually has the avatar of the Cookie Monster with Mookie Betts' face. So he has not changed his name in a few years either. So I always know who, okay, Mookie Monster. I think his name's Adam. Like, I don't know. I only know like 2 of the guys. I worked with 2 of the guys at the university at Western Illinois. And then the other guys are like college friends from when my buddy that I worked with at Western, when he was an undergrad, he went to school with out in Ohio. So I'm doing okay. I've got a pretty solid starting lineup. So Abraham, I picked up Eric Lauer, and who would have thought? And look at the strikeouts, man. So he's actually starting tonight against the Nationals. 3-1 with 49 strikeouts, a 2.6 ERA, and a .98 WHIP. So Eric Lauer, I picked him up off waivers on April 24th. And on that day, I picked him up to stream against the Phillies, and he had 13 strikeouts. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep him for his next start. Then he struck out 11 of my Cubs, and I'm like, okay, this guy's legit. And he struck out 8 Braves, struck out 7 Marlins. Tonight, hopefully, he strikes out 10 Washington Nationals. So I'm doing well. I picked up Jose Quintana off the waiver wire, so I need one spot starter. We have nine starts per week, per matchup. So I've got I needed to fill my 9th spot. Quintana's going. I've got 4 starters throwing today, so so I had to lose a couple of my relievers. So I dropped Genesis Cabrera, and I didn't drop them, but I moved them to my bench. Genesis Cabrera and Brad Hand. So yeah, so I'm doing well. 3-2, and hopefully I can pull off a win, improve to 4-2 after this matchup. Jenny says Zach is debating on doing a 1 million project for the other Chicago team. Low Roller says you heard Ric Flair will be doing one more final match this summer, but it wouldn't be a WWE match. Yep, it's going to be an independent match. I don't think there's any way WWE would have allowed Ric Flair into the ring. Ric Flair's had a lot of health concerns, and I'm a little I guess I shouldn't be surprised, as if you're familiar with Ric Flair's life, is anything surprising with the Nature Boy. So I guess I'm not surprised, but I am surprised. So yeah, he's going to have one final match, and I think it's actually going to be in Memphis. I may be mistaken on that, but he is going to have one final match. So this summer. Victor only owns 2 wrestling cards, just tweeted the cards. Oh, I'll have to check that out. Cliff says, are they still around? I'm not sure what that question was in regards to. Worlds Collide, my favorite wrestling content with wrestling cards on YouTube. Very cool. By the way, speaking of that YouTube content, Jenny, thank you for tweeting that out. Awesome response on that tweet. If you're on Twitter, go to Jenny's Twitter. And I went through last night, and I was not subscribing to a whole bunch of the channel. So I went through and made sure to and it says you might like. Sometimes when I see you might like, and it's like, I can't believe I'm not following them. So Post Game Cards, if you're watching, I just followed you on Twitter. I thought I was. So I apologize. So let's see. So Jenny and I always forget your new Twitter handle, SJ Sports Card. SJ Sports Card. A whole bunch of replies, 25 replies. So a bunch of YouTube content. So check that out. Subscribe to all those people. Support each other. It's awesome. So I went through and hit subscribe to all the channels that I was not previously subscribed to. So let's see. Jenny says card savers get me every time. Michael, good morning to you. Allergies. Oh my God. This is my right eye. It's not red this morning, but last night it was like red. There's nothing red here, but on the screen, but it was bright red, and it was like immediate. I took the dog for a walk yesterday afternoon, and we have kind of like it's not rural. My neighborhood in Herman will understand because he's been in my neighborhood, but it's like right behind me is a field, but it's right in the middle of, so it's like a neighborhood, but there's a field behind me. And then a couple of the other fields, they're actually in the process of putting that. I tweeted out the picture. They're moving earth to put up a climate-controlled storage facility, but it used to be all fields. So there's still kind of a country setting on this road that I take the dog for a walk on because it's nice. It's usually pretty quiet. I don't have to worry about the dog pooping in somebody's front yard. So as soon as we get out to that road, it's 2 blocks? Yeah, it's 2 blocks down. Once I get to that stretch where there's a lot of wild flowers, all of a sudden it's like I could feel it in my nose, and all of a sudden my eye And then, of course, I start itching and I come home and I'm sneezing. So yes, the allergies, they're getting me. Everything is blooming, and I'm catching the allergies. Bo Thompson, Mr. May. If there is no wrestling podcast, where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? Oh shoot, I skipped a whole bunch. If there is no wrestling podcast called It's Still Real to there, Zach. There you go with that voice to text, because I know what you meant to type. It's still real to me, damn it. Then I have no faith in wrestling fans. Lauer is good. Padres kind of gave up on him. Yeah, actually, when I was making my dollar boxes, I was pulling cards and I found like 3 or 4 Eric Lauer, rookie cards, and they would have been in my quarter box. But I pulled them out and I put them in my eBay store. I don't know if I've sold any, but I had them for like $1.50 or $2 in my eBay store. I thought they would go pretty fast. I know he's a pitcher and he doesn't have that name yet. He is in Milwaukee. This isn't a knock on the Brewers or Milwaukee, but it's a smaller market and it takes a little longer for talent to get recognized. Heck, it took Giannis, a year or two before he really hit mainstream. Abraham says, nice pickup on Lauer. I'm going to the Brewers game on Sunday versus the Nationals. Very cool. Now that the weather's warming up, I can start making plans to get to Wrigley. My buddy's been bugging me about when are we going? When we going to a Cubs game? So now that the weather's but the next few weeks I mentioned are really busy. Scott says, got a top loader feedback on eBay last night when I state in my description I ship with card savers. That's the absolute worst. I freaking hate that. And I get people all the time that ask, and when I say all the time, it's fairly common, but it's not like I'm getting inundated. My inbox is inundated with questions about top loaders, but it is fairly regular where I'll get somebody, does this ship in a penny sleeve and top loader? And so I always respond, ships in a penny sleeve and card saver. And I make sure, because I fell into that trap in the past where I said it ships in a penny sleeve and card saver, and maybe the person on the other end didn't realize what a card saver was. And then they knocked me. They gave me a neutral, I think, for not sending in a top loader. So now I make sure it ships in a penny sleeve and card saver. And in parentheses, I put not a top loader, just to make sure you're not getting a damn top loader. Okay. You're getting a freaking card saver. The card's going to come to you. It's going to be delivered in the condition that it was sent. Anyway, that's my soapbox. Cliff asks, isn't he like 90? Talking about Ric Flair. He's probably in his upper 7. What is Ric Flair? He's got to be in his late 70s. Ric Flair, I bet he's in his mid to late 70s. Where are we at? Ric Flair, come on, computer. Come on. It's that. Hopefully I'm not frozen because this webpage is. Let's see. Ric Flair. Oh, he's 73. He's actually he's a few years younger. I thought he was probably 77. I know that's only 4 years, but 73 years old, Ric Flair. Let's see. 4-1 in my fantasy league, but did not win the top scorer prizes. Bummer. But hey, that's a good start. That's a great start. I'm happy at 3-2. Bummer about Bryce Diego. Let's see. Stephanie McMahon will be leaving for WWE. Let's see. I heard the news. She's taking a break. She's taking like a personal break, a leave of absence, I think is what they're calling it. Let's see. Zach says, at Scott, when someone complains like that, tell them that's like someone arguing over getting a $5 bill versus 5 $1 bills. It comes out the same. Read the damn description. I like it. Paul Carl Cards, good morning to you. Maybe you're allergic to large birds. I had the old sandhill cranes came strolling through my yard. I was eating my frozen pizza last night. My wife and some girlfriends went out. Actually, they went out for pizza as well. So I had my Costco frozen pizza, and I actually had my card show layout. I was at the kitchen table making my map for next week's show, and in making sure my regulars are confirmed in, just to follow up, make sure. And all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see something moving, which, normally it caught my eye. I knew it wasn't like a robin or a cardinal. So I looked out my patio sliding door, and there's two sandhill cranes just casually strolling through. So I was able to get a couple of pictures. I tweeted one on Twitter last night. Pterodactyls spotted in your yard last night, right? They're really cool. And I learned last year because I was there's a one of the bike trails that I bike through. There's actually it's really cool. There's a little pond, like not far, maybe a half a mile from where I get on this bike path. Now I take this bike path. Now it's a regular bike path because there's like a dive bar in the middle of nowhere, like in the country. Like I think it's like a town. It's let's call it a settlement. There's about 8 houses, but it has a name, and I can't remember the name of it. Right? Oh, it's because the name of the bar is called. It's called the Riley Tavern. Riley. I don't know if Abraham's ever been out there, but it's between Verona and Mount Horeb, Wisconsin. Riley, the Riley Tavern, and it's right on the bike path, and it's really popular. They actually just built out a huge beer garden out in the front lawn. So I always hit that. It's like kind of a halfway point to Mount Horeb if I go to the Grumpy Troll Brewery in Mount Horeb. So anyway, between where I get on the bike path, because I'll take like back roads from my house to the bike trail. When I get on the bike trail, it's quarter mile, half a mile, and there's this little pond. And in this pond, like in the summer, thousands of turtles. Like all of a sudden you'll look and you're like, oh, there's a turtle. And then you look, there's like 12 more. There's 20 turtles. There's hundreds of turtles in this pond. And there's also sandhill cranes like nearby that I always see. And usually the sandhill cranes are like on the bike path, and they're not I want to say they're not aggressive like a goose. Like if you get close to a goose, you're going to know it. Like goose are just nasty a-holes. Or I should say geese. Geese are nasty a-holes. Sandhill cranes are not quite as nasty as a goose. You can get a little closer to them before they start like tensing up and ruffling their feathers. So I started like, I was curious on like what they are. Like I knew what they were. I knew they were called sandhill cranes, but I didn't know anything about like the animal. I wanted to get inside the animal. What's going through their minds? And can you eat them? So that's where I'm going with this. They're called the ribeye in the sky. Those two cute little pterodactyls that were in my backyard, you can eat them, and apparently they are the ribeye of the sky. I've never had a sandhill crane. I don't even know. Can you find them on a menu? I don't know. But I'd eat it. I mean, I don't want to eat the ones in my backyard. They look cute. I might give them a name if they come back. But hey, I'm willing to try anything. And now I'm curious. Ribeye in the sky, the sandhill cranes. Jenny says a climate-controlled storage facility directly behind you seems to call your name, right? Part of me thinks, damn it, I should have bought that land and put up a climate-controlled storage facility. Let's see. DR says, if you had to pick one wrestling career for you, whose would you rather have, Sting or Ric Flair? Instantly recognizable or painted face so you keep your privacy? Huh, that's a good question. My personality tends to be a little more like I'm certainly not on the same level as Ric Flair personality-wise, but I'm a little more outgoing. Sting seems to be more introverted and a little more subdued. So like personality-wise, I'd probably, and Ric Flair's like 16-time world champion. So he's got that going for him. So I'd probably say Ric Flair's like, he's in the conversation. And I was going to actually do a show on this, and I think at one time I had it written on my whiteboard. It's not up there anymore. I was going to do a show on the wrestling Mount Rushmore, which probably wouldn't get any views. But I was going to do a mention on Mount Rushmores, and I think I tweeted out like different names. Ric Flair would be on the short list. I don't think I had him on my wrestling Mount Rushmore. And the interesting thing about a wrestling Mount Rushmore is there's so many different variables that can go into, do you do it on pure wrestling talent? Do you do it on money made or uh, talking? Because there's some great wrestlers that just can't talk worth a damn. There's some great wrestlers that didn't make much money, didn't draw people when they were in the main event. But then there's guys that did, and they're terrible. Hulk Hogan, and he's not a terrible wrestler, but he's not going to be on your short list of great wrestling talents from a wrestling standpoint. But he made wrestling what it was in the 1980s. Much can be said the same as we fast forward 25 years to The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. But then when you talk about halls of fame and Mount Rushmores, we always tend to forget the guys the pioneers of the sports. When I think back about some of the greatest Cubs, when you see some of those lists, you hear it like Joe Tinkers and Cap, like every once in a while, but I don't think guys like Gabby Hartnett and the like, they don't get much appreciation in those conversations, in those debates. So then you have to go back on a wrestling standpoint, and there's like Ed Strangler Lewis and Lou Thez. Some of the Strangler Lewis, and actually I think I typed out in my original Mount Rushmore Lou Thez, and then Breakout Card said, "What about Ed Strangler Lewis?" So I'm like, I wasn't as familiar with Strangler Lewis, so I looked him up, and he actually trained Lou Thez, and it's like, okay, Ed Strangler Lewis was like, he's a goat. So maybe I would put him in instead of Lou Thez. So you got Bruno Sammartino. Could he be in that conversation? So my in the final four that I came up with, and I can't remember what. And again, it's something that it'll change, like probably on a daily basis. And I had like a little bit of everything. I want a wrestling guy, a guy that's like known as one of the greats, as an actual pure wrestler. I want a guy that's known as, okay, he was a great wrestler and he gave great promos. And then obviously guys that redefined the genre of wrestling, like Hulk Hogan, like a Stone Cold or The Rock. And Stone Cold and The Rock are kind of intertwined for me. It's like, I don't want to put one over the other. And I think The Rock gets more pub because of his acting career. And I think that overshadows his actual wrestling. And so I think when I think of The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin, I kind of lump them together. Like, I think The Rock and Stone Cold are 1A and 1B. Anyway, let's see. Sports card. Diego says, but Harper had a nice hat trade yesterday during the game. Paul Carl cards have been slowing down on my eBay listings because $3,000 per month for the enterprise plan is way too steep for my cheap cards. Testing out Sport Lots now. Oh my gosh. Yeah, don't do the enterprise. I mean, you can do I do the like not the highest one behind enterprise, and there's such a huge difference between the enterprise and the premium, I think is what I have, and it's like $60 a month, and then you go to like 3,000 for the enterprise. No way, it's not worth it. And I get like 50,000, 51,000 buy it now listings, and I'm struggling to stay at 12,000, which is a good thing because it means I keep selling, and that keeps dropping. However, I did add like 200 items to my eBay store yesterday, which I didn't anticipate. My dollar box, making up my dollar boxes, I actually made really good progress through the week this week, and really busted balls this week to get those done. And so I was able to get over 200 items listed in my eBay store. So I think I'm up around 12,300 listings. But weekend sales tend to increase. And then obviously I'll be out of town for a couple days, so probably won't get any more listed until Monday. Let's see. So yeah, Sport Lots. I'm not a fan of Sport Lots as a seller. I was at one point. I will say, Paul, my advice is if you're going to be listing older cards, it's going to be a giant waste of time. You're better off, take for example, I'm moving junk wax stars on eBay that would never sell on sport lots because there's so much, even at 18 cents. You're not going to sell a 1989 Topps Bo Jackson on sport lots because there's so much competition. But on eBay, there's not as much competition and there's way more eyeballs. And we're going to talk about eyeballs in eBay. Eyeballs in eBay. I like that. That's going to be the title of my next book. Let's see. I'm just trying to find. I sold a 1995 studio, the credit card studios, actually to Paul's Cards. Is that you? I don't know. Are you in South Dakota? For $1.25. That would never sell for 18 cents. And I don't say never, but it probably wouldn't sell for 18 cents in sport lots. I sold some, and these are the sales I like. I sold a 77 Topps Wally Chambers and a 73 Topps Charlie Ford. $2.50 shipped to the same buyer for those two cards, and those would be stagnant on sport lots. So what I do like and what I would recommend as a seller on sport lots is if you're ripping and flipping brand new product. Say 2 weeks ago Bowman came out. If you're putting up Bowman, you can hit the market, and there's a ton of set builders on sport lots that'll buy, and you can get $1 for an insert, 50 cents for an insert. You can move. And what I would do is, I do a case of, name your product was coming in. And if it was, whatever product it was, I knew I would probably get, say, I would get at least 8 cards of card 100 Mike Trout. And I'd put that in my sport lot store for, say, 75 cents. And I would do that as soon as the checklist was entered on sport lots, because I knew I was getting a case, and barring any type of wild mishap with collation, I was going to get, at minimum. And then when I would go through, and I would set that number at, maybe 6 to start, just in case. And then say I would get 10 cards of, most. And so then I would go back in, I would add 4, to those 6 totals. And you could, and what that did was that it was almost like a pre-sale. Well, it was a pre-sale. And I did really good. I would make about 40% back. Now, this was in 2016 and 2017 when, a case of Bowman was $800. Now a case of Bowman is $4,000. That's on the extreme side. I think Allen and Ginter hasn't gone up too much. I think I was paying back in 2017. I think my case of Allen and Ginter was like $900. Between $850 and $950 usually. I think now it's going to run $1,500, $1,600. So you're going to spend a little bit more. And I don't think those singles prices have met that, mark, where most of them are still going to be 18-cent singles on sport lots. So I would be cautious on what you list on sport lots, because if you're listing, you mentioned on the comment about cheap cards, if they're 80s, 90s, 2000s, even up to last year, probably not going to be worth your time to list on sport lots. I would drop that eBay subscription down definitely from the enterprise level. I would not do that on cheap cards. I would go with the premium plan. You'll get 50 to 51,000 listings, and stick to stars and minor stars, rookies, prospects who flamed. Brian Taylor surprisingly sells well. Some football. I sold a Todd Barinovich rookie this week. Dan McGuire sells really well. So those are the types of names, in the basketball world. Manute Bol, Spud Webb, and Muggsy Bogues. I can't keep those guys in my store. I think I probably have some in my store, but they move fairly quickly. So that would be my advice in terms of sport lots, and then what you want to do with your eBay subscription. Rich, good morning to you. I'm a little, I have to admit, I'm a little jealous. All my friends are going to be in Dallas this weekend. I'll be up in the land of cheeseheads, in Green Bay. Paul says, I'm building up my inventory on sport lots, then we'll take off vacation mode on the first. That's also a great plan. If you do sport lots, if you stick with it, as you're building that inventory up, make sure you're in vacation mode, because those fees are based on your sales. So, and they're on a monthly period. So Today is May 20th. So if you decide, hey, I'm going to start a Sport Lot store today, May 20th, you only have 11 days in May to make those sales to combat those high fees. So if you decide to open a Sport Lot store at the end of the month or like today, I would say make sure to put it on vacation mode. And then once you get to, a decent level of inventory where you think you can make some sales, because that fee structure is sliding. So, if you're only selling 20 cards, it might be 50% fees. But if you get it to, say whatever level it is, I think it's $100, it's down to like 23%. It is, I would say it is worth it if you do it right. If you have the right strategy, Sport Lots can work for you. It works really well for Mike Summer, Wax Pack Hero. Check him out. If you haven't already, he does really well with Sport Lots. I think for a majority of sellers, it's not a good platform. And it was for me for a couple of years. And then it became, just not I wanted to spend my time better. And I learned on, it took me a while to learn, but, some of these cards will move on eBay where they would sit in my Sport Lot store and never sell. Or if they did sell, it'd be 18 cents where I'm getting a $1.50. And, after fees on Sport Lots, that 18 cents might be, depending on what all your, postage and fee structure is, it might be only 8 cents or 6 cents, where on eBay, even at $1.50, it's going to be 45 cents profit. Let's see. Jenny says, what do you mean, Paul? That's your fees on eBay. Zach says, I'm in charge this morning and at home from gym, so I will catch up later. Thank you, Zach. Have a great day. Abraham, I plucked one of those Lauer rookies from Bo's quarter box at the April Madison. So see, there you go. I had those Eric Lauers in the quarter box. How convenient a climate-controlled storage facility right by you? They must have been watching your Goodwill pallet buys. And here's the thing. It's like, I don't even have to, I could get a wagon and I could I could just make a beeline straight through my backyard. Now, in the summer, there's going to be a cornfield or a bean field behind me. But like right now, it's not planted. Well, it's probably planted by now. But there's like a little side, I could just cut through. I don't even have to go around the neighborhood and take the sidewalks. I could just carry a wagon and straight behind it. Probably be a rough ride over the soil, but I could just go boom, make a beeline straight across the field to the storage facility. Paul says, for the store subscription, once I max out listings for the $300 per month sub, the next level up is $3,000 a month. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so you don't pay that now, but that would be the next level up. I would say my advice on that would be stick to your current level and be more strategic with what you list. Don't list commons, because those commons won't sell on Sport Lots or eBay. Some will, but many won't. So I would say just be more strategic with the inventory you're selling. And I guess, and here's what you could do. I will say Sport Lots, though, there's really not a quick, it's kind of clunky. The Sport Lots website is clunky, and I don't think there's a workaround like with eBay. We can use the bulk listers. We can use all that. I don't think Sport Lots, there's an easy way to do that. Although the good thing about Sport Lots is you don't have to worry about photos, and the checklist is right there. And so it is quicker in a way. So it's probably a horse apiece. But I would say in thinking that if you do want to try to make a little money on the side with the commons, I guess you could, be strategic with your eBay store and then put those commons that probably won't move on eBay into Sport Lots, and kind of use those intermittently. Man, I skipped all over the place here. Where are we at? Oh my gosh, we've got a lot of chats. Friday free for all is right. Let's see, where are we at? Holy cow, I'm still scrolling up. Okay, here we go. 3B, what's up, Herman? Had to steal the customer's Wi-Fi to watch today. Awesome. Rich says, listening to Bo before walking to the Dallas Card Show from my office. Can't beat that. Cooter, good morning to you. Thank God for coffee. Mine is getting low. How many listings do you have? I never knew of a 300 store even. I'm not aware of that. They have added different levels though. I'm still at the, I think, $60. And again, I think that's 50,000 listings, and I'm not even, I'm not close. I'm at 12,000 some. Paul says just 40,000 now, but I'm realizing just listing 99-cent cards forever is going to hit that brick wall before I hit my target. 250,000 listings. My whole plan experiment is thwarted by the 3,000 per month stores. Yeah, that's a huge, that's a big number. Low Roller asks why my eBay auction fails. We're going to get into that. It's 40 minutes in. I still haven't touched on that, but stay tuned. I will. John says that dive bar is someone else's big night out. And it's my big night out. I love that dive bar. Riley Tavern. Low Roller, because he needs to watch your YouTube channel to know how to run a good eBay auction store. Paul says at 250,000 listings, my numbers work out to 40,000 profit per year. But to hit 250K, I got to spend 30,000 per year on the enterprise sub. Wow. So yeah, that doesn't work. Those numbers don't work. The card hobbyist says, good morning, getting ready for another round of upper 90s heat today. I love it. It warmed. So yesterday, and here's why it's the free for all, because I'm going to go off on a weather tangent here. So yesterday it was like 60 degrees in the morning, which is fine. And it was overcast. It was kind of rainy in the morning. So I had like a shirt like this, a long sleeve shirt and jeans. And so I looked up the forecast, and it's like, it's going to be 83 today. And I'm like, what? It's 62 right now. So I went to the post office at like 1 o'clock, and it's like 64. It's still overcast. And I'm like, well, it's going to be cloudy and 60 all day. So then like 2 or 3 hours later, I take the dog for a walk, and I walk outside, and it like hit me like a brick wall because it got to 83 degrees. So I was pretty sweaty by the time I returned. So I'm not sure. So I wore shorts today with the long sleeve shirt because it's cold in here. It's cold in the house. So, sometimes in the summer I'll have a hoodie on, and then I'll put like a polo or a t-shirt underneath so I can take the hoodie off if I want to go outside or take the dog for a walk. Jenny says groceries keep going up. Sandhill cranes in the backyard better run, right? I had a battle with a gaggle of geese on the golf course once, mean and nasty for sure, but those balls cost money, so I had to retrieve it. Yep. And I don't golf, but I've been on the course a few times, and I've had one run in with geese on the golf course. My dog gets his Irish up whenever he sees geese. They may not be afraid of me, but they fear a 20-pound cockapoo. Which mail bin do the standard envelopes go in at the post office, packages or envelopes? I would put mine in the envelope. That's what I would suggest. I put mine in usually the big blue bins. My local post office is very particular, and I've had issues with dropping off envelopes inside the post office. But if I put them in the big blue bins outside, I don't run into any issues. So I just put them in the blue bins. But if you had to choose between packages or envelope bin, I would say envelopes. Jenny says, because if you do put them in the packages, they're going to be like, well, this is an envelope, and this is the package bin. I'm going to upcharge you. So I would not put them in the package bin because then you're going to run into them upcharging you. Jenny says, my expected delivery on eBay, June 1st. Wow, where is the time gone? Suddenly, we're about to be celebrating 4th of July. It does go fast. And it's like, especially here, you're in Minnesota, I'm in Wisconsin, the upper Midwest, it's like we get 3 months of summer, 4 months of summer. So we have to pack in like a year's worth of entertainment and outdoor activities into like 3 to 4 months. So it goes really fast. I know. I was talking to my mom last night. I'm going to the Green Bay card show this weekend. Next weekend is my card show. The following weekend is I'll be back home for a cousin's wedding, and it's Anawan Fun Days. The following weekend, I've got a friend's birthday party, and then it's like then I think I've got a weekend off, and then my June card show, and it's like, then it's going to be 4th of July. It's going to go so fast. Matt Cullen, good morning to you. Looking forward to meeting you with the show tomorrow. Awesome. Yes, absolutely. If anybody else is going to be in Green Bay, hit me up. I'll have the Cubs cardometer. I've got to get it updated. I counted. I still had Cooter, by the way. Thank you. Cooter sent me a box of Cubs. That was added to the count last night. So I'm over 801,000 Cubs cards. So I've got to update the cardometer for tomorrow's show. I'm going to do a Mount Rushmore episode on Queensryche members. A lot of decisions to be made. TD Sports Card says the Hart Foundation. C&M says they go into pockets of the workers. Paul Carl says, I don't follow wrestling at all, but if you're selling soap on Spotify ads, then you probably can't be on the Mount Rushmore. Rich says, and don't forget Jim Londos. Jenny says, wait, Boa's backyard sandhill crane chaser. Everyone in the hobby needs them backyards. Cooter says, John, I never figured you for a designer dog guy with the cockapoo. Narrowing down a Mount Rushmore list with over 100 years of history to pick from is a daunting task, no matter the subject matter. Absolutely. And especially in the world of professional wrestling where there's so many different variables. How do in baseball, you have stats that are across the board, but in wrestling, you don't have you have stats like number of championships. You can kind of go into win-loss record, but it is scripted. But still, wins who, if you won a lot, meant you were, talented in some way. John says, Coots' oldest son was allergic to dogs. I love not having any dog hair on my clothes. I agree with that. We have Havanese, a little 10-pound Havanese, hypoallergenic, in not having dog hair. Every once in a while, she gets itchy or she gets allergies around this time. So you'll find a little clump of dog hair, but not a shedder. Card Hobbyist, what's up? Low Roller says, why your eBay auction failed. Stay tuned. We'll get there. Thanks for the advice. I'm in Utica, New York. So that's not me. Excuse me, just a poser. Paul Carl says, sounds like Sport Lots is the way to go for new cards and not the old set. Is that right? Maybe I just do set lots on eBay. It is. You can put that inventory in Sport Lots, but what I learned, I ended up having, I think at my peak on selling on Sport Lots, I had close to 100,000 cards listed on Sport Lots, but a lot of them were 80s. And I would spend hours sorting 1981 tops. And I'm thinking, hey, 81 tops, there's probably set builders that'll pay 18 cents for a common from 81 tops. And I learned, and I had the store up in that capacity for about 2 years. And and I had 8 or 9 of each card because I had bought at one time a huge bulk lot of early 80s sets. And I probably sold 4 or 5 cards out of 10,000 from 81 tops, 82 tops. I had a bunch of late 70s, and they just didn't move. But I had a lot of success with brand new sets, week of release. But then and I know others, are strategic with the last 2 years still move fairly well. You're going to get the more recent, you're going to get the most traffic. You're going to get the most sales on boom, with anything right at release. I know the local card shop here, he does a lot of Sport Lots. And I know that he takes his stuff down after once they're 3 years or older, he takes it down and just puts them in. He calls them junk boxes, which I've bought them outright for $20 for a 3-4 row junk box. And it's there's a lot of good stuff in here. It didn't move on Sport Lots, but I'll put it on eBay and boom, I'll make, 6 times my money. Let's see. Cooter says, Mr. Cooter insists on adopting Crapsalots. So excuse the dog hair when I introduce myself in Dallas. The Card Hobbyist says Sport Lots fees are high unless you sell a lot. Absolutely. So you have to pay eBay a % of your sales and how many items you can list. Yes, for stores. But you also get, with a store subscription, you get a coupon. With my premium, I pay $60 a month for premium. And I get $50 a quarter. So, over a quarter is 3 months. So $180 I spend on the store subscription. I get $50 in supplies, which are, I use a lot of these eBay branded bubble mailers. I also have some boxes that I basically just use for bulk when I sell some bulk. So it's great for, I haven't had to buy bubble mailers in, a few years since I started this eBay subscription. So there are some other perks, and there's other perks. with it. You get a discount on fees. I think it's like a 1%. So I think the new fees are 13% for non-store owners. For store owners at the premium level, it's 12%. So you get a slight fee discount. You get some supplies. So it's and you get the listings. You know, you're able to list, or if you don't have a store, you can only list, I don't know what it is now, maybe 1,000. But now I can list 50,000. So it pays off because, you know, once you get past that 1,000, then you have to start paying like 20 cents per listing. And eventually, you know, the numbers don't make sense anymore. Jenny says, I'm taking off best offers on eBay trial run this week. People want everything for $1, free shipping, even $3. Yep, absolutely. And I replied to your tweet last night. I counter everything, and it's actually pretty surprising. You know, say it's a $2 card and somebody offers me $1, I'll counter it $1.50. It actually happened a couple times this morning, and they'll buy it. It's almost like a test, like, hey, I'll pay $1.50 for this, but I'm going to offer $1 and see if I can get it, because a lot of people will. You know, and what I also like doing, and here's another reason I keep it on, Jenny, is because if I have, you know, say my $1.50 cards, like the lowest, if one person sends an offer, I'm going to go to $1.30, because it's not feasible for me to sell one card for $1 shipping. But I don't want to take that off, because many cases I'll have somebody that sends an offer on, and actually it happened last week. Somebody bought like 100 cards. They were all listed for $1.50, but they sent me offers for $1. Now I have a 25% discount, but 50 cents off $1.50 is 33%. And these are commons. Like, I'll definitely give you 33% off, you know, some 70s commons. But all day long. So you know, for me, it was like $100 sale, because I had that open. You know, I had that offer open. And yes, it can be annoying, but it can pay off. So I would say stick with it. Michael says local Target had a few cards left. Ripped a Bowman U blaster, decent stuff. I really like that product, and I haven't opened any myself. I've seen some pictures. Michael, I know you don't like seeing retail pictures, but I actually like seeing those retail pictures, because I've seen the Bowman U blasters, and it makes me think, hey, maybe my Target has some of those in stock. Today's Retail Friday, so I might go out and check out, because I would like to rip some, just to rip. And I'll probably, if I find enough on the shelf, I'll, you know, buy 5 or 6, rip 2, and leave some sealed, kind of like what I did with Overtime Elite. Paul Carl Card says, thanks a ton. I'm not on the enterprise level. That's the barrier that I ran into. I think I'll stop this experiment before it starts. Definitely, yeah, the enterprises, I looked at that, and it's like, before eBay offered like the 50,000 free listings, I was looking at that like, if I want to scale up, I can't pay. And I don't think it was 3,000 at the time, but it was significantly more than the premium, because it went from like $20 to $50 to like 300, or I don't know. I think the enterprise, is it 300 or 3,000? I can't remember, but it was a significant increase that, you know, it wasn't going to be feasible for me. Card Hobbyist says, football tip, add the player's alma mater as well as their NFL team. That is a good tip. That is a great tip, because there are a ton of college collectors out there. Rich says, hey, wait a second. I am jealous of you. I would have gone up to Green Bay a day earlier to see if I could get a tour and walk the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Lambeau Field is so unique. I've only been there once. I went to a Packers-Bears game a couple years ago. It's so unique in the fact that Green Bay is a small town, and you go in, and I was shocked as we left. If you've ever grown up or been to a high school football game in a small town, and I'm talking like population 1,000, and you park like in front of houses and side streets to go to the local high school football game, that's Green Bay. Like, yeah, there's parking lots, and there's small parking lots, but all of a sudden we leave the game and we start driving out, and we're driving through small, like little ranch houses that look like they were in my small hometown of 800 people, like we were leaving an Anawan Braves high school football game. It's so unique. If you ever have a chance to get to Green Bay, Even though I hate the Packers, it's definitely worth a trip to take in a game there because it is truly a spectacle. It is a spectacle. Ed says we need to get a group together for Dallas in 23. I'm definitely in. I can't make it work in 2022, but I'm definitely in next year. Cooter says Uncle Rich is 9:45 tomorrow. Still a good time for all in Dallas to meet for a photo op. Got to put the pressure on him to spring for a damn plane ticket. Oh, have you seen the plane price? The Herman actually texted me last night, and he's like the plane ticket he had from a couple of weeks ago. Now he bought it, in advance, but it's $250 more than what it was when he bought it just a couple months ago. Michael shares his Mount Rushmore. I think I skipped ahead. This is why we call it a free-for-all Friday. I haven't even talked about the eBay auctions, and Low Roller Scratcher is his head's about to blow up. 55 minutes in. Hogan, Flair, Austin, Rock. Bruno is considered also. Cliff says, as a dad with 3 kids, I look at free shipping on a budget. Free shipping means an extra card or two. Absolutely. That's why I love, as a seller, doing free shipping. Plus, I don't have to worry about setting up shipping discounts. I avoid an extra step in my setup. John says I switched to free shipping per Bo and Jenny's leads. So much easier. Absolutely. I'm thinking doing some more quantity listings on eBay to help me more efficient with the listing. Thanks a ton for the advice. You saved me a ton of time. Absolutely. You bet. Jenny says we had 50s yesterday. Glad because I moved a ton of rock. Today I moved and laid tons of sod, and it's raining. That's a bummer. Record highs for Georgia today, 94 degrees in May. Yeah, we hit the 90s. Was it last week? We had about 3 days where, it was last Thursday. It was 90. It hit 98 degrees here in Wisconsin last Thursday. And that was the day I had to unload 200,000 or more cards from the back of my SUV. Fortunately, it was just like, it was kind of, I pulled them out of my truck, and then the guy too had his van right there, so it was just poop. So I didn't have to sweat too much. I'm still having challenges with eBay standard envelope in Michigan. That sucks. I'm getting a few. My issues are ticking up. Still a very small percentage, but I am seeing a few more issues here in the last couple weeks. Jenny asks if you're using card savers or top loaders. Dan Quesadillas, good morning to you. Do you get free eBay supplies as part of the store subscription? Nothing in life is free. I have to pay for the subscription, and then I get a $50 coupon every quarter. So I pay $180 for an eBay store subscription, and then I get $50 in supplies. So it's not free, but it's a nice little perk for paying for that sub. Fall Creek uses card savers, and I pay the 73 cents 2 ounce, still about 50% returns. Ooh, that's a bummer. Jenny recommends, have you tried different cities blue box like the next town over? That would be my first suggestion, is wherever you're dropping them off, do something different. Whether it's another town, which is kind of a pain. If you're dropping them off inside the post office, try a blue box. If you have a mailbox outside, use that. Low Roller says eBay free store is $250 per month. Centex Rocket, good morning to you. I've seen some people list a pick a card to fill your set type of listing on eBay. Would late 70s, early 90s commons sell like that? Is it better just to sell in bulk? That's a good question. I do have success, and here's one reason why I don't particularly, and I do have some variation listings in my eBay store, but I don't like it because you lose out on some of those keywords where they don't come, especially if it's, say it's Barry Bonds. If somebody's looking for Barry Bonds, those variation listings can get buried. And I think Jenny even mentioned it in chat a couple days ago, how she won't, go to a variation listing to search for Miguel Sano and find what's already sold out. So I don't think it will generate, it can generate traffic for set builders, but for others, I don't like it. But they do work. I'm hesitant when I do use variation listings. But if I will say, if you have, and I'm coming from the standpoint where I have 51,000 free listings per month that I can use. And I'm, struggling to scale up, and I'm around 12,000. So I have that cushion to where I don't need to list variations to save on those listings. But if you only have, say, 250 listings per month, and you're up against the wall there with 250 listings, then I would say yes, they're definitely worth it. Fall Creek says, I have 4 places I use, but when I mail, it's about 10 at a time, and only the Michigan gets returned. Interesting. That's yeah, I don't know. My next suggestion would be talk to like the postmaster and just to see, even if, I mean, if you're selling, if you're doing single cards in a card saver, I do, sometimes I do up to like 6 cards in 2 card savers at 1 ounce, 53 cents, and they get delivered fine with, no postage due, no return. Every once in a while, every once in a great blue moon. So sometimes, but very, very rarely does that happen. TD says the Anchor store is $300 a month for 25,000 fixed price and 1,000 auctions. Premium is $60 for a 10,000 fixed and 500 auction. So what happened? I have 51,000 for my premium store, but that's the base. So that's the base with the subscription. Now you get an additional, so maybe it's 61,000 I get. So you get an additional like 50,000, and let me see if I have my, go to help on eBay. You get an extra like 50,000 for certain categories. And I'm going to look up, and sports cards falls into those other categories. eBay store. Let's see, manage your eBay store selling fees. Let's just go to open an eBay store, and I think that's where it's at. I promise you I'm going to get to the main topic. Low Roller, I'm sure there's 2 or 3 more comments from Low Roller asking about why my eBay auctions failed. I'm getting there. So I apologize. We're already over an hour. I do apologize. Let's see. Choose a store subscription. Let's see if that's where we find it. Because I do know in regards to TD's comment where premium is 10,000 fixed. Yeah, Enterprise store is 3,000 a month. Oof. And that's with the 1-year plan. So you've got to commit that money up front, I believe. Let's see. Compare stores. Okay. So here we go. Fees, benefits. Who's it for? Well, son of a. Okay, here we go. So here it is. Oh, for some, maybe you don't get that anymore if you open up. Because under benefits, it has 10,000 fixed price listings allowance with 0 insertion fee, and it doesn't have the green check mark for some reason. 50,000. Huh. But for whatever reason, I have the 50,000. So I think it's 61,000 listings that I get per month. And let's go into my seller dashboard, and I can tell you exactly what I have. But I had it initially. I was given that 50,000 because I had signed up for managed payments, ahead of time. So it was kind of a perk to get you in the system faster. So premium store, I get 10,000 fixed price listings for my premium store subscription. And then I have I have an ongoing promotion that doesn't expire where I get 50,000 additional fixed price free insertions in select categories, which sports trading cards is one of those. And then I get 500. So I get 60,000. So I get 60,000 free buy it now listings plus 500 auctions per month. Let's see. Jenny says, interesting, Fall Creek. It sounds like it's the main hub in Michigan or the local PO they're going to in Michigan that's tagging them rather than your post office. Yeah, it sounds like it's probably like a distribution center or a sorting facility, not a distribution center, a sorting facility somewhere in Michigan. Rich says, I'll be at the DCS by 8 a.m. Let me know, but I don't live on my phone. Jenny, where are we at here? I missed a whole bunch. Let's see. Where are we at? let's see. Rich, Jenny TD, they charge those numbers unless it's only for some people. Bo has the 60 store for $50K free fixed. I have $27 for $10,000 fixed. Rich is heading over now. Some sell and pick your card, but majority don't, from my experience. Let's see. When the pandemic blew up cards on eBay was, and yeah, that's exactly what it was in the, it doesn't say that in the subscription page on website. I wonder if your grandfather did. So I think that's the case. Because yes, as I just looked up the benefits, it doesn't show that anymore. But since I had the premium eBay store when the pandemic hit, they gave us that, like, I think they gave us like 50,000 free listings for a premium store. And then I was given, it went back down to 10,000, but for signing up for managed payments, I got the extra 50,000. Let's see. Card Hobbyist asks, which card saver do you use? Fall Creek says the number 2s. I think it would be a fun plan to do a StreamYard eBay Q&A on future Friday. I think that's a big topic here with the viewers. Absolutely. That's a great idea. I do have under promotion offers free additional 50K for the premium and an additional 10K. There you go. So you have 60,000 also. Let's see. Okay. I've had my store for 4 years. So yeah, you should have 60,000 free monthly listings. I'm caught up on the chat. We're only an hour and 6 minutes in. Awesome. So my strategy, and this was thanks to DR's suggestion, was to kind of move some stale inventory from my eBay store, the Buy It Nows, move those over to auctions. And this was mainly to combat standard envelope Wednesdays, because all of my fees, now it was a little weird this week. I had a few come out on Wednesday, but a bulk of them, the postage fees for using standard envelope, came out on Thursday. The reason is I kind of like it, because I like it and I hate it. It's kind of like tax time. Okay. When you have to pay into the IRS and you have to pay a lump sum on April 15th, and it's like, damn it, I have to pay in, but you would have had to pay that in. So it's basically like you get free money for a year, and then you have to pay in. Like, you have to pay in, so just have it, but you can collect the $1.20 interest or whatever you get. So I kind of like it. I'm basically, they're floating me the money, the postage money, until it's marked delivered, and then they take it out on a weekly basis, which is usually Wednesdays. So I see my managed payments balance on that Wednesday drop throughout the day, and it's like, damn it, where's my money coming in? So I want to combat that for guaranteed sales and not rely just on the Buy It Now sales and tweeting out, hey, come to my store for 25% off. So I may do like a Wednesday special. Maybe I'll do like a 50% off select items in my eBay store to try to drive more sales, because I wanted to do auctions and it failed miserably this week. Why did it fail miserably? Well, there was no traffic. So I moved, and I did it on a small level, and I'm glad I did. And so I moved some stale inventory, some stuff that I had a little overpriced. And case in point, and I tweeted this out last night, was the Trevor Rogers, and he's not doing as well as he pitched last year for the Marlins, but he's still a really good pitcher. And it was his first chrome refractor, which sells for, the last couple have sold for between $7 and $10. I actually had mine in my eBay store because last year is probably when I pulled it out of a dollar box. It was in the $15 to $20 range. But again, he's not playing as well as he did last year. So I put that pupper, that's what I call my dog. I put that puppy on a 99-cent 7-day auction, and it ended last night. It had 7 views over 7 days, and it sold for 99 cents with free shipping. Means I took a loss on this particular card that sells for between $7 and $10. So I looked at the views on others, and Jenny even said, she's like, I looked at some of yours and 99 cents free shipping, and there's just no views. And again, it's not like it's a nice card. It's a good card. It's a $7 to $10 card. It sold for 99 cents. So I'm going to scrap the auction idea. Now, I do have some, I'll probably still do the occasional auction on just crap that that would likely go in the dumpster. So like old magazines, it's like instead of just throwing them away, I'm going to put this on 99-cent auction, and I'll probably charge $3 shipping just, for break even. And we'll see if they sell, and maybe I'll be able to make $1 and do it that way. And if it doesn't sell, it's going into the recycle bin. So that's, I think, how I'm going to approach eBay auctions moving forward. I'm not going to put Trevor Rogers, cards like that where I know I could just drop the price in my eBay store. The reason it didn't sell in my store was because it was still overpriced, because I was comped from I had listed it last year and the price started dropping, and I didn't, my pricing didn't reflect the drop in the market, so it was still priced above where it should have been. So yeah, it was a big fail. And hey, live and learn. Sometimes you gotta take chances on some of these things. And again, it was going to be stale inventory. It's not like I was listing a hot card that sold for, under market, really under market value, which this did. But again, it's no sweat off my back. Low Roller says you can do auction once a week. You can use your free auction for free listings anyway. Yeah, but I'm going to have to be strategic with what I list, because if they're only getting 7 views in a week, I'm not going to want, and again, that's Trevor, it's a pitcher, it's the Marlins. I get it, but I could have put that as a buy it now for $7 and it probably would have sold in a day. So, and a $6 difference, when you're looking at scale, multiply that by thousands, and it's a big waste. So I think now moving forward, to combat those Wednesday postage days where my balance drops, maybe I'll do a big one-day sale, like, hey, everything in the store is 50% off if you buy 3 or more. Just to, I don't want to do 50% off $1.50, because then it's only 75 cents and I'm losing money. But say you buy 3 or 4 cards, it's 50% off. So maybe I'll institute that next week and see how it goes. And again, that's just to move some stuff that wasn't selling, and combats, all of those fees being taken out of my account on every Wednesday. TD says you can do a 500 item promotion. I usually bounce it among different sports for the weekends and do 10% off. Card Hobbyist, got to run. Have a great weekend. You as well. I'm going to wrap it up because we're almost an hour and 15 minutes in. As always, what a fun chat on Fridays. The Friday free-for-all, always a good time. Talk a little bit about everything. If you're in the Green Bay area, I'll be at the Green Bay Card Show at the KI Convention Center tomorrow. If you're in Texas, well, I know Texas is a big state, so you might be in Texas, but you might be a long way away from Dallas. So if you're in the Dallas area, check out the Dallas Card Show. A bunch of friends are going to be in Dallas, so if you're down there, have a great time. Get some good cards. Have a lot of fun. No show tomorrow morning, but I will be back on Sunday morning recapping the Green Bay Card Show. So, again, have a great day, and we will chat Sunday morning.